What's up guys, this is Jake, and in this video I'm going to be showing you step by step how you can create your own website using Squarespace. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the video. So the first thing you need to do is go ahead and open up Squarespace, and you can do that by going ahead and clicking the first link in the description, and it will take you to a page that looks just like this. And if your page looks a little different, that's okay. It could be just because you are watching this video at a different point in time and Squarespace changed up their home page a little bit. But regardless, all of the functionality and everything that I'm going to show you in this video will be exactly the same. So like I said, go ahead and click the first link in the description to get brought to this page right here. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create a site, and you can go ahead and follow along step by step. So what we're going to do once you're here is you're going to go ahead and click get started, and it's going to go ahead and ask us what our site's about, but I'm going to go ahead and just skip this here and just click I'm just browsing. And now we're going to go ahead and be able to pick out a site template. So the different site templates are going to depend on what type of site you have. So let's say maybe you have a marketing agency, maybe you have a local business, maybe you're a YouTuber or a podcaster, or maybe you have an e-commerce store. Depending on what type of website you're trying to create, that's going to kind of determine which template you want to go ahead and use. So we can see, if we look over here on the left, we can see we can browse by different sections right here. So we can see that if you see that the business that you have, the type of website that you're trying to create, fits any of these criteria, that you'd want to click and look through these. So let's say, for instance, you're an e-commerce store, you could click on online stores, and we could see that we have a bunch of different e-commerce templates here. So one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at these templates, don't pay too much attention to the images or the fonts, because these can be changed. When you're looking at these, what you really want to be looking at is the template and layout of the site itself. All of the images and text can be edited, which I'm going to show you how to do in just a little bit. So let's say you were a local business, you could go ahead and click on this, and you could browse the different local business templates. And if you want to go ahead and take a look at any of them, you can just go ahead and select preview right here, and it would go ahead and bring up a preview of what this template would look like. And we could see what it looks like here on desktop, on a tablet, and on mobile. So the cool thing about these Squarespace templates is they're automatically going to be optimized for desktop, tablet, and mobile. And given that 60% of traffic nowadays roughly is mobile traffic, you definitely want your site to look good on mobile. And using Squarespace, your site's automatically going to look good on mobile, so that's not something you really have to worry about. So I'm going to go ahead and go back, and for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use one of the popular designs, which is more of a one-size-fits-all. So I'm going to go ahead and use this first template right here. So if you want to follow along with the video, you can go ahead and use the same one, or you can use a different one, because like I said, all of the editing and functionality is going to be the same regardless of which template you choose. So I'm going to go ahead and click start right here. And then we can go ahead and just create an account. So we can go ahead, and if you are signed into Google, you can use that, or we can continue with an email. I'm going to go ahead and click continue with email, and then click continue, and it's going to go ahead and load our website up right now. So we just have to wait here a second. So we can go ahead and see that first off, it's going to say welcome to our site. So we can go ahead and put in our site title right here. So in this case, I'm going to put in Luna Digital, because for this example site, I'm going to make it a marketing agency website. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. And then we can see right here, it's going to show us how to add and edit pages, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this step by step anyway. So we can go ahead and skip by that, and we can skip by create pages, because I'm going to show you all of this anyway. So now on here with step 5, we can go ahead and begin customizing. So the first thing we want to do is start with logos, fonts, and colors. So right here we can see that we already have our site title right here, which shows up here in the top left. However, we want to go ahead and switch this to a logo. So if you already have a logo, you can go ahead and add that right here. And if you don't have one, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can make one for free really quick. So if you do already have a logo, then you can go ahead and skip a few minutes ahead and pick up from there. And if you don't, then we can head over here to logomaker.com. So that's LOGOMAKR.com. So logo maker just without the E. And in this case, since our company name is going to be called Luna Digital, we can search for different graphics right here. And I'm going to go ahead and just search for a moon. And we can see that there's a lot of different options right here that we can use for our logo, and they are all free. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick a very basic one for the sake of this video. So we're going to just go ahead and pick this crescent right here, and then once we have it in here, we can drag it around to move it, and we can resize it a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and use a basic template for a logo, which is going to just be an icon to the left and then text to the right. So I'm going to drag this over to the left, and then I'm going to click this text box right here. And then what this is going to do is allow us to add text into the logo. So I'm going to go ahead and add text right here, and we can go ahead and resize this as well. So I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, just like that. And we can come in here and click bold. If we want to make the text bold, we can italicize it or underline it. And we can come in here and customize the word spacing and stuff like that, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it really simple in this regard. So I'm going to go ahead and realign it right here, so we can see that if we drag it up and drag it down, we can see that these little sections come up and it kind of auto aligns it with the logo right here. So I do kind of want to make the text a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and realign it again, and I'm going to align it just like that and scoot it over just a little bit, and then we can go in and edit the text as well. So I'm going to go ahead and we can change the color of the text by coming over here to the top right, so we can make it any color right here on this spectrum. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and make it white, because this site layout, we need it to be white to show up on the background image. So I'm going to make that text white, and then I'm going to click on the moon over here, and I'm going to change that color to white as well. And now that we have done that, I'm going to just go ahead and come up here to the top right and click Save Logo, and we can see that it's going to offer to give us high resolution files to pay for them, but we're going to go ahead and not do that and just take the free one. So we're going to just click No Thanks, download low resolution, and we can see that we've got it downloaded right here. So now we're going to come back over to Squarespace, and we're going to add this logo in. So I'm going to click Add Logo. We're going to go ahead and add this in here. So it's going to go ahead and upload, and our logo is going to show up right up here. So we can see that now we've gone ahead and created a logo right there, and this is going to show up on all pages. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on Next, and now we can go ahead and choose different types of fonts. So we can see that if I go ahead and click on this, we can see that all of the font on the site will change. Or if I went ahead and clicked on this one, we can see all of the font would change. So you can go ahead and click more down here if you want, and we can browse through a bunch of different fonts. However, I'm going to go ahead and use the Futura font. And if we wanted to look through more different fonts, we could go through here by looking through the serif and through mixed. So go ahead and just preview a bunch of these, see which font you think fits your branding the most, and go ahead and use that. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use the Futura. I'm going to click Next, and then now we can customize our colors by choosing design palettes. So the design palettes, what they do is they kind of give you suggested colors that go well together. So let's say I were to click on this one right here, we can see that that goes ahead and changes our button color, and that will also change our footer color. So if I go over here and click this one, we can see that changes our footer color and our button color as well. So we can go ahead and pick a pre-designed palette color combination, or we can go ahead and choose our own. So let's say I wanted to have purple as the primary button color. I could go ahead and do that. And then we can go ahead and see here that it will go ahead and give us different suggestions for color palettes to go with this purple. So if I clicked on monochrome, we can see that we have a light purple here for the button and a dark purple down here for the footer. Or we could select the complementary option, so purple and green, and you can go ahead and just pick which color combination you like the best. I'm going to go ahead and go with the monochrome for this video, and then I'm going to go ahead and click done. And now that we have done that, we are going to go ahead and move on to the next step, which is going to be to go ahead and add a favicon in here really quickly. So a favicon is going to be what shows up right here on the top left of your screen. So if I were to open up Google, we can see that Google's favicon up here is their G logo right there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can go ahead and add your own favicon up there as well, which is just going to be your logo. So if we come over here, we have the edit menu here where we can edit a bunch of different things, and a lot of the site editing is going to be done under pages and design. So we're going to go ahead and click on design, and we are going to come down here to browser icon, and I'm going to click on that, and it's going to say that we can sit here and add a favicon. Now if you already have a favicon, you can go ahead and upload that here, and if you don't, then you can go ahead and come back to logo maker and create one here. So in this case, we will go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just refresh this, that way we get to a fresh page. And what we would do is I'm going to just find the same icon that we used earlier, so the moon, and in this case I'll go ahead and make it purple to match the branding of the site, and then we will come up here and I'll make it a little bit bigger, come up here, click save, and then download it again. And then if we come back over here, I'm going to go ahead and add that in. And it's going to take a little while to update. It's not going to show up right away, but once you've went ahead and added that in, you will be good to go. We just need to click save, and then in a little bit it will update, and you will, instead of seeing this little box up there, which is the Squarespace favicon, you'll start seeing your own. So I'm going to go ahead and back out now, and now we're going to go ahead and take a look at pages. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to home, and I'm going to select the pages section right here. So we can see that pages are going to be broken up here into different subcategories. We can see that our pages actually show up right here. So there's two main types of pages we have. We have this folder page, which essentially creates a drop-down menu. So we can see if we hover over about, we can see that these sub pages right here show up as a drop-down. And then we can see that this right here is a standard page, so readme, and if we go ahead and click on this, we can see that it will go ahead and load up its own page. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these, and we're going to create our own, because I want to show you how to create your own pages for the sake of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the delete button right here and click confirm. Go ahead and delete all three of these here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start adding some of our own pages in. So since this is going to be a marketing website, I'm going to go ahead and add a few marketing related pages in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus sign next to main navigation, And we can see here that we can go ahead and add a blank page, which is just going to be a standard page that's going to show up here, or we can add a folder, which is going to be the drop down menu. And there's a lot of other options here as well. However, the most common ones you're going to be using is a blank page or folder. And then there is store as well, which is going to be a common one if you are creating an e-commerce store. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a blank page, and we can just go ahead and name our page here. So I'm going to go ahead and name this first one About Us, and we can go ahead and have that right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and add another blank page, and I'm going to name this one Testimonials. I'm going to add another page, Contact, and now I'm going to add a folder. So we'll add a drop down menu this time. So I'm going to add a folder, and this one's going to be called Services. So now that we've created the folder, we need to create a few pages within this folder, so that way it will show up in the drop down. So I'm going to go ahead and add a blank page within this folder. So the first one will be Google Ads. I'll add another one. Facebook ads, and we could have, so I would go ahead and create a page for each service that we offer. And just like that, we can see that we've created a bunch of our own pages here. We have About, Testimonials, Contact, and if we want to change the order in which they show up on here, we can just select and drag it, and that will change the order that it shows up on here. And we can also see that when we hover over Services, which is the folder we created, we can see our drop down menu showing up right here. So we can see that right now it says that these pages are empty, and later on in the video I'm going to show you how we can go ahead and populate these pages with information in just a couple clicks. So for right now, we're going to go back to home, and now we are going to get into the meat of the video, because I'm going to be showing you how you can go ahead and customize your entire site. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to the home screen by clicking on this in the top left, our account, and then I'm going to come back over here to edit site, and this is going to take us right back to the beginning again. Alright, so now that we're back at the main screen, I'm going to go ahead and click on edit here in the top left, which is going to allow us to edit everything on the site. So we can see here that we can go ahead and just hover over different things. So I can hover over the header, and it's going to allow us to edit that. We can hover over any of this different stuff, and we can edit all of it right there. So we're going to start out from the top, and we're going to go ahead and edit the site header. So if I open this up, we can go ahead and take a look over here. So we can see that we can come over here and click on header layout, and we can see that it just gives us a bunch of different layout options. So we can see right now we have the default with the logo on the left, and then the menu right here, and then a call to action button. And we could do something where the logo is in the middle, the menu's over here, and the button's over here. I'm going to go ahead and stick with this standard layout because it's common. It's what a lot of site visitors are used to, but you can go ahead and play around and see which different ones you think would fit your site the best. And then we can go back, and then we can go back and re-edit the site title and logo again, which we've already done. And at this point, we can go ahead and change our logo size. So if I wanted to make it bigger, I could drag it to the right or to the left. And if I wanted to change the site, if I wanted to change the max height on mobile, so the size of the logo on mobile, I could do that right here as well. And then we can go ahead and go back. And if I go ahead and click on elements, you can see in elements here we have the option to keep this button, or we can get rid of the button. So in this case, I'll go ahead and keep the button, and that will go ahead and load it up right here. And we can edit the button text right here, and we can go ahead and link to a page on our site right here. So in this case, we'll go ahead and change the button text to get a free quote, and we could go ahead and change this link right here by clicking here, and we can open this up, and we can go ahead and link to a different page. We can link to a specific web address. So if we wanted to link to some other site, we could go ahead and put an email right here. So if we wanted to go ahead and have people be able to contact us via email, by clicking the button, we can put that in there. We can do the same thing via telephone, or we could have a file, put in a downloadable file right there as well. In this case, I'm going to just go ahead and change this to the contact page. So as you can see, as soon as I start typing contact, it auto populates right here. And we can choose whether we want it to open in a new window or open in the same window, and we'll just keep that in the same window, and then we click save. And then right here we can go ahead and add social links. So if we have social media for our business, we can add that in here. So if I go ahead and click edit social links, we can go ahead and add a social link or email. So I'll go ahead and add one really quickly. So in this case, I'll just add my Instagram for the sake of the example. So we can see I put the link in here, and it automatically detects that it's an Instagram. And then we can hit back, and now we see that Instagram shows up here on the top. And we can change the size of that as well if we want. We can make it bigger, we can make it smaller, whatever you think looks the best. And then we can go ahead and click back, and now we can click on colors, and we can go ahead and right now it's set on transparent. If I turn that off, we can go ahead and see that it goes to a base white. We can change this to different themes for the header here. So we could do dark minimal here. So the different themes that are going to be available right here are going to be based off of the color palette we have. So we could go ahead and stick with transparent, which is just going to go ahead and show up all the menu and everything's going to show up on the background image we have, or we could go ahead and use our themed colors that we select earlier. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and stick with transparent. I'm going to go back, and we're going to go ahead and click out of here. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to this first main section right here. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is I want to change this background image to something that is more relevant to our website. So in order to do that, we can just hover over the image itself, and we can click on this pencil right here, and we can go ahead and edit it. So there's a couple things we can do in here. We can edit the section height, so we can make it smaller, or we can make it larger. In this case, I'm going to stick with medium, and then we can change the content width as well, which is just going to change the alignment of different content we have on this image in here. But most of the time, the way it's set by default looks pretty good. So in this case, I'm going to keep everything by default. But if we came down here to content alignment, we can go ahead and switch the text and button from the left to the right to the center, or from the top to the bottom to the center. So in order to change this image in the background, we're going to go ahead here and click on background, and we can see that we can put an image or a video in the background right here. In this case, we're just going to stick with an image. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this one by clicking delete. And now we have two options. So we can either add an image. So if you already have a background image you want to put, we can go ahead and upload that here, or we can search for images. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can search for images. And we can see that there's a few different ways we can search for images. We have free and we have premium. So we can see that free, we can go ahead and search in, let's see, maybe they have something for marketing. I go ahead and type that in, and we can see we could go ahead and use one of these free backgrounds for our site right here. So let's say I just wanted to go ahead and use this one. I could click select and then click add to site, and it's going to go ahead and add that in here. And once it loads in, it's going to go ahead and show up here in the background. And if you don't find any free images that you like in there, what you can do is also come over here to pixabay.com, which is another site that will go ahead and allow you to get a lot of royalty-free images that you can use on your site. So we can come over here and search for marketing, and we can see that we could use all of these different images, which are also free. Alright, so I went ahead and added a different image in because I think this one looks a little bit better. And the next thing I want to do is I just want to go ahead and change the overlay opacity down here a little bit, because we can see that the image is a little bright, so it makes it a little bit harder to see the text. So if I go ahead and bring this over here, we can see it makes it a lot darker, or it makes it a lot brighter. So if I go ahead and drag this down to 50, we can see that now the text and the menus and everything is a lot clearer. So now I can go ahead and now we've went ahead and changed our background photo and made it a little more relevant to our site. And if you come over here to video, if you wanted to go ahead and put a video back here, you could. So you could go ahead and put in a YouTube or video link. I'm not going to do that in today's video. I'm going to be sticking with the image because that's what most people are going to be using. But if you do want to put in a video, you can. It's pretty easy. And the last thing we can do is come over here to colors, and we can see that the same theme that we were looking at before, we can go ahead and bring that up again. We can go ahead and look at the different themes based off of our color palettes. So right now we're set on black minimal. We could switch over to dark minimal. We could switch over to light bold. We could switch over to light minimal. And we can see that what this is doing is changing the overlay right here, the overlay color. It's changing our button color and everything like that. We can see that we have white bold and we have white minimal, and we have dark bold. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the black minimal, and we are going to go ahead and back out of here. Okay, so now that we've went ahead and edited the image and everything in the back, now we need to go ahead and edit this text. So in order to do this, we can go ahead and click on this right here. And if I go ahead and click on any of this text, we can see that we can just highlight it and start typing on our own. So I can go ahead and say, we go ahead and put a related tagline like that, and we can go ahead and edit the format in here by highlighting the text. We can move it this way, in the center. We can change this format to a heading 3 if we want to make it bigger, heading 4 to make it smaller. We can go ahead and change the boldness of it by bolding it, and we can go ahead and make a bulleted list. We can go ahead and just edit the text any way we want by using this editor right here. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this text here by highlighting it and getting rid of it, and then I'm going to highlight over this, and I'm going to make this heading bigger. And then now I'm going to go down here to the button and click on edit, and we can see right here it says learn more, which we could go ahead and just keep it like that for this example, and we can go ahead and link this to a page. So we click the gear icon, and I'm going to go down the page, and in this case we can go ahead and if we click on this, it's going to search the different pages we have. In this case, we can go ahead and send it to the About Us page, and then click on save and apply. So now we have our button set up, and it links to our About Us page. So the next thing we can go ahead and do is scroll down, and now we can look at these different sections. So we can see that whatever template you pick has its own little sections we can have in here. So if you want to go ahead and change the order of a section, you can go ahead and click these arrows right here. So if you want to move this entire section down, we can click the down arrow, and we can see that it moves the section from up there to down here. Or if we would just want to go ahead and get rid of it, we can go ahead and click the trash can and go ahead and remove it. And we can go ahead and add sections by clicking the plus sign right here. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can add a section, and we're going to go ahead and add one by clicking on the plus sign, and we can see that there's different types of sections that we can add in. So we can add headlines, which is essentially the section that we just edited. So we can see there's a lot of different headline options here, and we can go ahead and add a list. So this would be good for different types of services. So this is what I'm going to add in this case, but I'm going to go ahead and show you a few others as well. We can add a gallery, so this might be good if you have a lot of different photos that you're trying to show off. We have images, so we have just an image right here with text, which is what is already in here down there by default. We have quotes. There's a lot of different things we can add in. We have appointments. So if you're a local business and you're trying to get people to book appointments, you can put in that. We have newsletters, products, forms. There's a lot of different sections we can add in. So I'm going to go ahead and add a list right here, and I'm going to use this first one. And once we click on that, we can see that it's going to go ahead and auto populate right here. So when it comes to editing each one of these sections, the process is essentially the same as with this first one. The only difference is going to be the template of each section is going to be a little different, but the editing process is exactly the same. You just have to click on something to edit it. So in this case, I would go ahead and click on this text, and I can go ahead and change this to our services. And we could go ahead and come down here and click on these images. And if I would go ahead and click this edit image right here, I can go ahead and put in an image. So we can go ahead and delete this image and upload our own. So I'll go ahead and upload this one right here, and it's going to go ahead and resize it to fit the template. And I'm going to go ahead and click apply, and then I'm going to go ahead and change this text down here. So I could change this to Google Ads, and then we could go ahead and click on the paragraph text down here and say, we offer Google Ads services for all types of businesses. And we can go ahead and edit the other ones the same exact way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quickly. Alright, so I went ahead and added in 2 more images and added in the 2 more services as well. And then we could also come down here and edit this button. So if I wanted to go ahead and edit it, I could go ahead and do that. And we can go ahead and change this to something else. And then we could put the click-through link to a page we have, which could be the services folder, and we could go ahead and save that, and this would take them right to our services section of our site. So that's how you can go ahead and add a section in. So at this point, when it comes to editing the rest of the sections, like I said, it's pretty much the same process. We just go ahead and click on it right here. We can click on the image. We can go in here, get rid of the image, change the image, and then we could come out. We could go ahead and click on this text, change the text, edit the button. It's the same exact process for every single section. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit different type of a section that you can go ahead and add in here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this section and delete this section, and I'm going to go ahead and click the plus sign again. And in this case, I'm going to click on video, and I'm going to go ahead and select this section, this template right here, which is going to have 2 videos. So if I click on that, we can see that now we have a video section. So first, I'm going to go ahead and remove the paragraph text, and then I'm going to just edit the header right here, and we'll go ahead and call this free marketing training. And then if we go ahead and click on the edit button here for the video, we can go ahead and copy, or we can go ahead and paste in a YouTube URL. So I'm going to go ahead and take a video from my channel and paste it in right here, and it's going to go ahead and load that content in. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of load or use custom thumbnail, so that way it's just going to go ahead and show the thumbnail from the video itself. And then it goes ahead and auto populates a little bit of information from the description. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that, and then I'm going to click apply, and I'm going to go ahead and come over to this one, and I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to go ahead and grab another one of my videos, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. I'm going to uncheck use custom thumbnail. I'm going to get rid of the caption, and I'm going to click apply. So now, just like that, I've went ahead and created a section of the website to go ahead and showcase 2 of my marketing videos, which prospective clients might be interested in. So you can see that the more you edit different sections, the more comfortable you're going to get with the editor. So the more that you sit on here and play around with it, the quicker you're going to get, and then soon enough you're going to be able to be extremely fast and efficient with editing all of these different sections. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can add a contact form, since pretty much every single site is going to need a contact form. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that now. So if we click the plus sign here, we're going to go ahead and click on contact, and we can see that there's a lot of different templates here. I'm going to go ahead and use the first one, and it's going to go ahead and auto populate right here. So it's going to go ahead and show our social links right here that we went ahead and added before, and then by default we have the contact us, and we can go ahead and change this info, so you could put in your business email right here just by clicking on the text and typing like we've done earlier. Put in your business phone number and your business address if you are a local business. And then over here we can edit the form. So by default this is the base form. If we click on edit, we can go ahead and edit the form right here. So we can go ahead and name our form whatever we want. Nobody sees this, so you can really put in whatever you want right here. And then we can go ahead and look at these different fields. So by default this form comes with name, email, and the message. So if I went ahead and clicked on edit on name, we can go ahead and click this required checkbox. If we unclick this, we can see that it will not be required for them to put their name, but if we do click on this, it will require that. So if you go ahead through here and edit these different ones, you can choose whether or not you want a specific section of the form to be required by checking or unchecking this box. And we can go ahead and add our own form fields if we want. So if we want to go ahead and add in, let's say, a phone number, we could go ahead and click phone. And if we wanted to change the order of this, since this typically the message is going to be at the bottom, so we'd want to go ahead and grab phone and drag it above message, and then we could come in here and we could choose whether or not we want to show the country code, and we could go ahead and make the phone number required. And depending on the type of business you have, you can go ahead and choose whether or not you want to require the phone number or not, and then we can click on done. And then if we come over here to storage, what you'd want to go ahead and do is just connect the email address that you want all of these messages to be sent to. So you could put your customer support email in here, or your primary business email, wherever you want your all of these contacts to be sent to, wherever you want all of these messages to be sent to. Go ahead and put that email in there, so that way all of these messages will be forwarded to that email. So that's all you really need to know regarding the contact forms. So if we come down here and click on apply and OK, then you are good to go. So now at this point, we've went ahead and created an entire home page just like that, and there's a lot of different sections that you can go ahead and add to your website to fit the specific design you're going for, like I said. So if we click the plus sign, we can see there's a ton of different things, different templates that we can add into our site, and editing them is pretty much exactly the same as the process that we've already been doing. It just changes a little bit based on the template, but with Squarespace it's all really easy. You just go ahead and click on what you want to edit, and it's pretty much the same process pretty much no matter what template you're using. So now I'm going to show you how we can go ahead and edit some individual pages really quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here and click save. So you always want to make sure that after you've edited a bunch that you save what you've done. You don't want to X out of the site or go to a different site without clicking save in the top left. So now we remember these pages we created earlier, they're all blank. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how we can go ahead and add content to them. So if I go back here to home and select pages right here, we can go ahead and select the page we want to edit. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and select contact us, and that's going to go ahead and bring this up right here. So if we want to edit this page, we can just click on edit, and we can go ahead and just add page content. So we can see that when it comes to editing the individual pages, it's exactly the same as editing the home page. We just go ahead and add different sections in, and we can select from a bunch of different templates, the same exact templates that we had access to before. So creating content on the individual pages is literally the exact same process as on the home page. You're just starting from scratch. So in this case, since this is a contact page, we would just add the contact form again. So I would go ahead and select the contact form once again, and we'd go ahead and edit it the exact same way that we did before. So we could add the phone field in, drag it up, make it required, select done, put in the contact email, select apply, and you are good to go. So you can see that once you start to get the hang of it, you can really start to zip through all of these different pages, especially if you know the type of look that you're going for. However, whenever you're setting up a new site, you're probably not going to know exactly the type of design that you want to go for, which is why it's recommended that whenever you're creating the home page or any page, that you can kind of just mess around and throw in different types of these section templates and just see what they look like. You can edit them, see what they look like, and if you don't like them, then you can always just come over here and get rid of them, and you can start over again. So that's how you go ahead and edit the individual pages, and it would go ahead and be the same process for each of these other pages. So if I were to go ahead and select done and save, it would be the exact same thing for any other page. So if I wanted to edit testimonials, I would just edit it. We can add content in, and let's say I wanted to add a lot of video testimonials. I could go ahead and select the video template, change the text, and we could go ahead and add in customer testimonial videos if we have them. So what you put on the individual pages is going to vary depending on the type of site you are creating. However, like I said, the process for creating each page is exactly the same as the home page. You're just adding sections and editing the sections, all of which is very easy on Squarespace. So I'm going to go ahead and click save up here. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can go ahead and get a custom domain, because right now we can see our domain right here is dolphin-copper-52bf.squarespace.com. So obviously that looks pretty stupid, and we wouldn't want this to be our domain because that's not professional at all. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go back to home, and then in order to select a domain, we can come down here to subscribe. And then in order to get a domain, we have to go ahead and select a plan. So we can look at the different plans here and the different options here. We can pay either annually or we can pay monthly. So if you choose to pay annually, then you're going to get a discount. So we can see that if you were to pay annually in this example for the personal plan, it would equal $12 a month. And if you were to pay monthly, you would go ahead and have to pay $16 a month, which is still relatively cheap for a website. So what you're essentially paying for here when you select a plan is what's called website hosting, which is essentially, you can think of it like renting land online. So like if you have a house, you have to have land to put that house on. So if you have a website, you have to have somewhere to store that website online, and that's what website hosting is. So that is essentially what you are paying for. So in this case, if you already have an established business that, that's been out for a while, that's already generating a lot of money, then at this point you'd probably want to go ahead and pay annually so that you can save money. And if you're an established business, then you'd want to go with the business plan as well, because we can see that we get a lot more features here with the business plan than you do with the personal plan. And if you're creating an online store, an e-commerce store, then you're going to want to go with one of the two commerce options right here. But if you're just creating a site for the first time, and this is more of a side project, you're just trying out something new, you can go ahead and go with the personal plan. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and choose the monthly personal plan, since I don't plan on using this site in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and click select. So you would go ahead and just click select on whatever plan you've decided to go with, and then you go ahead and input your credit card details here, which I'm going to go ahead and do right now. And then you go ahead and click save and continue, and we can see that it's going to go ahead and show up for $16, and we can go ahead and click confirm and purchase. And it's going to go ahead and process this right here. And now that we go ahead and have this, we can go ahead and now get our domain. So if we click on get a domain, it will go ahead and take us to this page right here. So we can go ahead and use a domain that you already own if you already have one. So let's say you already bought a domain through GoDaddy or something like that. You could go ahead and select that right here. But in this case, I'm going to assume that you don't have a domain yet. So we can go ahead and just click on get a domain. So in this case, we can go ahead and just look for different domains right here. So in this, I'm going to go ahead and just type this in and see if we can see that lunadigitalmarketing.com is taken. So we could go ahead and use lunadigitalmarketing.net. Now when it comes to domain names, typically you want to stick with the .com, and typically you want to keep your domain name 15 characters or less. But for the sake of this example, I'm going to just select the .net, so that way I can just show you how the process works. And then I'm going to go ahead and click proceed to checkout, and then we just have to go ahead and enter our information again. And then click continue, and then we can go ahead and place this order. And we can see that it's going to go ahead and take up to 10 minutes, and they'll send an email when the process is complete. Alright, so we can see that it's going to say pending registration, and it's going to say if we click on this here, your domain registration is in progress, and you'll receive an email once the process is complete. So this can sometimes take a little while. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 30 minutes. But if you just wait a little bit, you can click on refresh, and we can see that it will end up changing, and this will end up changing to green. And what it's going to do is it's going to look just like this. We can see our built-in domain, which is the dolphin copper crazy looking one, and it will be green right next to it. As soon as this registration is done, this is going to show up green as well, and then all you have to do is select this domain instead of this one, and you will be good to go. So with that said, the last thing we need to go ahead and do is come back here to settings, and we can scroll over site availability, and we can see that our site right now is private. So if I go ahead and click on this, we can go ahead and change the site to public. So once your domain is registered, once it's no longer pending and you've switched over to the domain you just bought, you come over here to site availability, you'd make your site public, and you'd click save, and you'll get a update right here saying your site is now live and you are good to go. So with that said, that's how you can create your own website with Squarespace. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel for more content, and I will see you guys in another video.